Hello, everyone. Welcome on board. So welcome to iCooL Challenge interview session organized by RoboCup Asia Pacific RCAP CoSpace Organizing Committee. Let's put our hands together to welcome Chief Judge Evgeny Shandarov from Russia. Evgeny is a RCAP Executive Committee member and RCAP Junior General Co-Chair. OC Chair Jiayao Shen from Singapore. Jiayao is also a RCAP Executive Committee member and RCAP Junior Co-Chair, and judges from the RCAP Organizing Committee. So today for session 2, there will be 6 candidates. However, one of them, the first one, TW5083, will not be joining us today. So we'll be starting off with Samuel in a short while. So the instruction is, the interview panel has prepared 2 interview questions for each participant. Each participant will be given a maximum of 8 minutes to answer 2 questions, selected by the judges after they've viewed your video. All right, so Samuel, I'm going to invite you to, hi Samuel, how are you?
Hi.
Right, can you say something so that?
Hello.
So can you, one moment, can you, hi, can you hear me, Samuel?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, good. All right, let's begin. Okay, so the first question is, the system will divide the map into a 3x3 matrix. How does the robot use the markers and its position to move to different areas and deposit boxes?
The screen says a participant is from Taiwan. So is this my question?
Oh, sorry,
Just
sorry.
checking.
Oh, sorry. One moment. This guy has not shown up. Another one. All right. This is a question actually. When the robot is fully loaded, how can you quickly find the deposit area and deposit?
Okay. So for the current code, what I did was because the map was given to us beforehand, we can tell the robot what coordinates the deposit zone is in. In this case, it will just go towards the nearest deposit zone. However, I have some issues with track avoidance in my submitted code, so I neglected the bottom left deposit zone. So I think if I had more time, I would certainly include the bottom left deposit zone so that if the robot is closer to it, it will go towards there. And since we are allowed the liberty of like hard coding to match, to fine tune our code for a specific map, we can also do some hard coded deposit runs. So let's consider the deposit zone in the middle column and the top row. If the robot is coming from the middle square to the top deposit zone, by traveling a certain distance upwards and like doing a turn towards a clockwise 90-degree turn, we can get to the deposit zone rather quickly. If it's coming from, let's say, the squares to the left and right of the deposit zone, then we can do some calibration based on the distance from the wall. So since the robot has side sensors, we can know like how far the robot is from the walls that are bounding the map. Then we can also like program the robot to run at a specific lane so that you'll get to the deposit zone immediately. That's all for my response.
All righty, thank you. Let's go to the second question. All right. Well, which is actually the one that was prepared that you saw already. So the system will divide the map into a 3x3 matrix. You use the gyro sensor to determine what angle to move. How did your program figure out where the robot was? Is the calculation for direction to move towards approximate?
Okay, so the program will give us the position data. Like it will tell us which part of the 3x3 grid the robot is in. So we don't have the exact position, and thus the calculation for the direction to move will be approximate. So if to illustrate with an example, if I want to move from a position of 0, 0 to 1, 1, then the direction will be 45 degrees. But in that particular grid, we are unable to know which position the robot is in. So the direction to move is approximate, but you will eventually get there. Like if you consider the robot be towards the top left corner of the 001 grid, it may actually move into the 01 grid first before it moves to the 11 grid. And this can be simply resolved by just calculating a direction to move at every single loop. So even if it like crosses into surrounding grids, it will correct and tell the robot which direction to move from the current position it is in. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, that's all for my response.
All right, thank you, Samuel.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, let's go on to our next candidate. From Indonesia, Naswa Spectra Aurora. So let's get Naswa onto online. Okay, let's. Okay. Hi, Naswa, we cannot actually see you. Like, is your camera blocked? Hello? Can you hear us? All right, one moment. I think we need to set something. So I think they're probably restarting the computer or something. So let's actually head to the next one. So our next candidate is Pohan Chow from Taiwan. So I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself and start your video. Hi, how are you today? I think you're mute. Yeah. Okay, cool. Hi. Right. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Our first question for you today is, besides the ultrasound and the color sensor, did you use any other sensors on the robot? Take your time. You have 8 minutes.
Use use the compass.
Right. So just the compass. And any other
Come.
sensors? So if you're finished, please tell us that you have finished answering so that we can go to the next question. Okay, thank you.
Compass and yeah, just compass.
Okay, so it's just a compass. All right, cool. Let's go to the next question. So please explain more about the strategy that prevents a robot from circling around, right? In the video provided, it seems to still get stuck sometimes. How have you tuned this strategy?
I use the I run the my program run one time, and I let it +1, and I set that +2 5, it will go straight. The robot will go straight, and I can let him leave.
Do you have any more to share? You still have 5 minutes. it's okay if you have nothing more to share. You know, like we can move on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Pohan.
Thanks.
All right,
Okay.
and our next candidate is from Indonesia. Okay, so let's get them on board. Hello.
Hello,
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine.
All right, good, wonderful. It's very nice to see you. All right, so our first question for you today is, are there any strategies you used that you think was the biggest contributor to your performance? You have 8 minutes, take your time, and when you're done answering, please let us know so we can go to the next question. Okay, thank you.
My strategy in this competition is using an ultrasonic sensor to detect walls in the arena and to sensor RGB color to detect wall to detect object. And to detect walls, floor in the arena to take an object.
Hi, Naswa, do you have anything more to share? Have you finished answering the question?
Finish.
Okay, good. Right, let's move on to the next question. All right, so when the robot is fully loaded, how can you quickly find the deposit area and deposit?
The robot can scan the colors. The robot can scan colors, the orange, my robot will scan the arena.
Anything else that you would like to share? It's okay, relax, you know, don't be too nervous.
My robot will scan the arena. The robot scan the orange color to put the object.
And you have 3 more minutes.
We finish.
All right, thank you so much, Naswa. And we're
You're
going
welcome.
to go back we're going to go to our next candidate, SG3024, Zhang Palin from Singapore. All right, Palin, I'm going to invite you to turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Hi, Palin, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, let's get you beamed up. Okay, awesome. First question. What kind of pathfinding methods have you tried? How did you choose the best path?
Okay, so basically in the map we are given a line to follow. So basically I try to follow the line tightly. So to follow the line tightly. So basically the path I just follow the line, and to follow the line tightly, which is just make sure the robot is on the path that I wanted to go. I use the PID control. So let me explain it a little bit. So P control is about and so first your robot is on the line, and if the line needs the robot to turn, the robot will go, like for example, this is a line, and the robot will be slightly at a different angle from the line tangent to the line given to me. So this angle will cause the robot, the sensor in front of the robot to give me a different value from the value I want. So the difference in the value will tell me what angle I want the robot to turn. And I will make this angle proportional to the angle the robot turn, which is how extreme the robot will turn. Yeah, so that's how my robot follow the line to make turns or things. And but when I do that, there is a problem is the robot may overturn, which means that when it make this turn, it will overturn to the other direction of the line. So it's on the other side of the line. Then it will turn back, and this will cause an oscillation. And to reduce the oscillation, so I use the derivative control, which is the D in PID control. So basically, the D control is to calculate the amount, like how extreme it turns. So if it's too extreme, it will reduce the turn a little bit. So the turn, like how the robot go back to the line, is more smooth. Yeah, and the last one, PID control, the I is for the robot to go back to the position desired faster for me. Because when it turn back too slowly, this will be an integral value that I can get. So if this value get big, the robot will turn faster and then go back to the line faster. That's how I choose the best path and do the tracking. Yes.
All right, very nice. So let's go to our second question. So in the video, you have mentioned that you have made the robot slow down in order to overcome to overcome overshooting when the robot is tracking the line. So will there be any possible methods to solve the overshoot issue besides slowing the robot down?
Oh, so like like what I've been talking about just now, there was overshoot, and I try to use derivative control and integral control to reduce it. However, like when I do PID control, there's three gains like P gain and basically is how much I wanted to react to the errors. So I found that in different speed, there's a different set of values, like different set of gains that acts the best. So at low speed, like it's a larger range of values that can perform desired. But at high speed, it's like very hard to find the best set of values, like best set of gains. So that's why I reduced its speed, because I didn't manage to find the best one at a high speed. But I guess if we look up online, there will be some more methods like Ziegler Nicole method to find the gains, the best set of value. But due to the limit of time, I wasn't able to apply that. That's all.
Thank you. Right, let's thank you, Palin, for your time and sharing. So let's move on to the next participant, Shushen from Singapore. So Shushen, I'm going to ask you to unmute and start your video. Okay, hey, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Right, wonderful. Let's get it started. Okay. So first question is, how was the optimal path chosen?
For me, I tried to look at the distances that the robot would travel to get to the finish line, and I tried to choose the one that was that had the least distance and the least turnings. I also tried to find a path that would allow my robot to travel in a straight line the most, as it was easy to code the robot to move the fastest in a straight line.
Okay, are you?
Yeah, I'm done.
Done? Okay, cool. Let's go to the next question. So could you briefly explain what each of the P, I, and D terms do to the response of the robot?
So the P term was to help the robot follow the line. I first assign each line follower sensor with a value, with the lowest value at the innermost sensor and the highest value at the outermost sensor. And this was so that it could ensure that we could track how far the robot was from the line, as the sensor that returns the value, the sensor that senses the line would return the value of how far it was from the line. So I use these different values to figure out the speed that should be added to each individual wheel. And then I added a constant of kp that was multiplied by the distance that the car was from the line, and then I kept changing this constant to make sure that until it could follow the line, even though sometimes it kept overshooting, as it kept oscillating over the line. And then I used the constant of d, where d, no, I after that I used the variable d, where d was the p minus the previous p value, and then I multiplied that by the constant d, where I had to figure out the constant by trial and error again. And then as for I think it was for any obstacles that it would meet in the field, but then I didn't actually use it because I felt that my control was stable enough. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Shushen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good job, everyone. And thank you. This is the end of session 2. Just a gentle reminder, the award ceremony will be held today at 10 GMT, which is 6 p.m. Singapore time. Thank you. Hi, everyone. If you have finished your interview, you may leave the room so that the next batch of candidates can come in. Thank you.
将我的
Hello, everyone. Welcome to iCooL Challenge interview session organized by RoboCup Asia Pacific, RCAP, CoSpace Organizing Committee. Let's put our hands together to welcome Chief Judge Evgeny Shandarov from Russia. Evgeny is a RCAP Executive Committee member and RCAP Junior General Co-Chair. OC Chair Jiayao Shen from Singapore. Jiayao is also a RCAP Executive Committee member and RCAP Junior General Co-Chair. And judges from the RCAP Organizing Committee. The interview panel has prepared 2 interview questions for each participant. Each participant will be given a maximum of 8 minutes to answer 2 questions. And the first question is for Arav Anil from India. So Arav, I'm gonna invite you to unmute yourself and to start the video so that you could answer some questions. Hi Arav, how are you? Can you see us?
Yeah.
All right, can you see the slide? All right, awesome. Good. Okay, let's, so how did you turn out of a corner? Is it a fixed value?
So in my robot, if it wants to drop in the orange box, it will go through this corner. And I have used the ultrasonic sensors to avoid the corner so that it does not get stuck in the corner. And, it's not a fixed value because it will keep on turning until it doesn't see the wall. So the 3 ultrasonic sensors, it will see the wall and it will turn until it doesn't see the wall. So it's not a fixed value. So by this, my robot will not get stuck in this corner. And it can easily go and drop in the orange deposit zone.
Okay, so I assume you have finished
Yeah.
answering. Okay, let's go to the next question. All right. Do you use position information for collecting the RRCCBB or RCB set? If yes, please explain your algorithm. If no, please explain your object collection strategy.
I have not used any strategy in collecting the RCB set, but what I have done is that after it picks up and drops and deposits the blocks, then depending on which orange zone it deposits in, it either goes front or goes back, so that my robot will cover the whole map, so that it has a higher chances in collecting the RCB set. And suppose my robot deposits in the orange zone, it either goes front or back, which is the deposit 1 or the deposit 2, depending on which orange zone it is depositing in, so that it can cover the maximum amount of area in the map. So by that, I can see that the blocks, the RCB blocks can be picked. And I've also made sure that that my robot will pick at least one RCB set before depositing, so that I get an extra 90 points for the RCB set.
All right, thank you. So, so are you finished?
Yeah, I finished.
Yes, all right. Thank you so much, Arav.
Thank you.
Let's head on to the next candidate. Right, so next candidate is Glenda Tan Hui En, SG 5014. So please unmute yourself.
Hello. Is anybody talking?
No.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute just now. Let me just get back to that. All right, sorry. So do you use your robot position and marketing strategy? If yes, please explain. If no, please explain how the robot finds the deposit box. Take your time, you have 8 minutes.
I use the robot position in my strategy when trying to avoid the traps. So for example, if the robot is in the bottom right corner and it encounters a trap, then I will keep track of like a table of the different positions in the field. So if it encounters a trap in the bottom right corner, then it will add 1 to the counter to signify that there is a trap over there. So next time when the robot is moving around, then it will calculate like the probability of it being in an area with a trap. So if it has a high probability of being in the trap, then it will slow down so that it can avoid the trap in time. Then whereas for an area where there are no traps, so the probability of there being a trap would be low. So the robot will speed up in those areas. In this way, my robot will have more time to collect the objects. And this helped to improve my score. Because previously, I will set the speed of the robot at a slower speed like 70 for it to just move around so it can avoid the traps. But this limited the amount of time it had to collect the objects. So my score was like about 600. But after using this strategy of like marking the positions and the probability of it encountering a trap, this helped to improve my score because I had more time to collect the objects. And my score improved by like about 500 to 600 points. Yeah, this is my answer to this question.
Well, thank you, Glenda. So let's head on to the second question. So you mentioned that the remaining color was often on the other side of the deposit zone. Does your robot seek out the missing colors for an RGB combination? Why or why not?
My robot does not seek out the missing colors for the red, cyan, and black combination. So I think that my strategy has some limitations because sometimes like when the robot has collected maybe 5 objects, it may not have been able to collect the full combination to get the bonus points because for example, it will have collected maybe 3 red and 2 black objects, but no cyan objects. So I think that one way to improve my strategy for my robot to have a higher probability of achieving the combination is to make my robot move less randomly. So for example, if my robot is lacking a cyan object and it was previously in the middle area, the blue zone with a lot of cyan objects, I can keep count of like how many cyan objects are in that area. And so I can calculate the probability of which area that has the highest probability of getting cyan. And I can program my robot to target that square and move to that area. So that in this way, my robot can get the full combination and it won't move so randomly. So this can improve my points.
Thank you, that's a great strategy. Yeah, so thanks for sharing, Glenda. And we're going to move on to our next candidate. Right, our next candidate is Huang Zizi. So I'm going to ask you to start your video and then to unmute yourself.
Okay,
Hi,
hello.
Zizi. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, great.
All right, I'm gonna just get to a question.
Okay.
Right, one moment. Let me just move back. All right, so 2 questions, right? The first question is, how do you define rectangle zones for a new map and how to integrate the zone data with your path planning? Take your time, you have 8 minutes. And when you're done, please let us know. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I defined my rectangle zones by myself using a technique called topological mapping. And for different fields, because we'll have we'll encounter different maps every time. So for different maps, I will define the rectangle zones by myself, and to give them the labels of about the color or the quantity of the objects in the rectangle zones, and those data I will record them in my program, and so it can contribute to my path planning. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you. Let's head off to the next question.
Okay.
All right. During the game, how do you plan on solving unplanned situations, such as being blocked by your opponent's robot, or the objects in the special zones have all been picked up?
Okay, so I see the opponent's robots as the obstacles like in the field. So being blocked by the opponent's robot is the same when I'm encounter several the obstacles in the zone. So it won't be a really big problem. It can move back and turn, and won't be interrupted by it. So okay, the second question is that well, I will first give a label of how many the objects are in this special zones. Then with each object I searched from that particular zone, I will the total number of the objects will be subtracted by 1. So if all the objects are already picked up, it will have a label of quantity of 0. So I won't go to that particular zone for searching anymore. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you, Zizi. We're gonna head off to our next candidate. All right, so the next candidate is Drean from Taiwan. So can you unmute yourself, and we are gonna feature you. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you.
All right, cool. Let's get you to answer 2 questions, okay? So first, how do the robot move to special zone, and what are the object search strategy used in special zones?
I use marker to get to the special zone. As you see, there's a green marker on the map on the top of the super zone. And when my robot see that green marker, it will turn left. No, it will turn right to get in the super zone. And when you get in the super zone, you will get a lot of points. So I decide to turn into the super zone, and I was searching blue object in the super zone. I use a strategy to let my robot circling in the super zone so it won't go out the super zone, and you will get a lot of points. And when it gets 2 blue objects, it will go out. and go to deposit zone. This is my answering.
Okay, thank you. Let's head off to the next question. So how did you get the robot to switch between the different strategies in the game? What was your strategy for choosing the threshold values for color detection?
Okay. I have two strategy. Let's call it strategy A and strategy B. And strategy A is distance from the distance from the wall is 30 centimeters from the wall, and strategy B is the distance between the wall is 50 centimeters. And why I'm choosing 50 centimeters? Because the deposit zone is between the wall, the distance is between the wall is 50 centimeters. And I will change strategy A and strategy B by using time. When strategy A didn't get any object in 60 seconds, I will change to strategy B. So it won't work the same way. And this is my answering.
All right, thank you so much. So we're gonna head off to the next candidate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So the next candidate is Mimin, SG 5019. So can Mimin unmute herself and then show
Hello.
yourself? Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Right. So yeah, let's head over to your questions, shall we? Okay. So the first question is, you mentioned that the robot has a compass sensor. Was the sensor used in your program?
Thank you for asking a question. Yes, I did use the compass sensor in my program. So as mentioned in my video, when the robot senses the yellow warning zone at the bottommost square, and when the robot is facing the left, it would turn right into the blue special area. And when it is facing the right, it would turn left into the orange deposit zone. So to know whether my robot is facing the left or facing the right, I'll use the compass sensor. So for example, when the degree returned by the compass sensor is below 180, I will know that the robot is facing the left. So in that case, I will turn right into the blue special area. And when the degree returns by the compass sensor is more than 180, it will turn left into the orange deposit zone. So I find this a win-win situation, as I can avoid the traps while turning into the special area and the deposit zones respectively, which will help me gain points. Thank you. I finished answering my question.
All right, thank you, Mimin. Let's head to the next question, shall we? All right, so the system will divide the map into a 3x3 matrix. How did you get the robot to figure out where it was and where to head to?
So as mentioned in my presentation video, when my robot misses the topmost deposit zone, and it has 6 objects inside, so it needs to deposit before it can collect more objects. And when it's coming from the right and misses the topmost deposit zone, it will sense the topmost green marker. So since the green marker also appears in other coordinates, so I'll ensure that the robot would reverse back into the deposit zone when it senses the green coordinate at the topmost central square, which is when the x value is 1 and the y value is 2. And And although I didn't implement this in the end, I was also using target squares. So I will target the squares of specific colors, and so that I can get the RRCCBB combination and get a bonus of 180 points. So when I target the squares, I would need to use the coordinates of the robot, and since the whole map is divided into a 3x3 matrix, it was and each in each square it would be of a different color of objects, so I would easily know which square to go to so as to collect the objects I need. And since the deposit zones are in only some squares, I will also use the coordinates to target the deposit zone once it collects 6 objects. However, I didn't implement this in the end, as I find it a little bit hard to avoid the walls, as there are some walls at the center special area. So the walls will affect my robot's turning and the angle is facing, so it might affect which square I am targeting at. But in the future, I will try to implement and explore with this pathfinding algorithm. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mimin, for sharing. We'll be heading off to our next candidate, Wendelin Kang. So Wendelin, can you unmute yourself and share your video with us? Thank you.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Wendelin, how are you?
Hi. I'm doing good. Thank you.
All right, let's get to your questions. So how did the robot find a deposit box? How does the robot move into and move out from the deposit box?
So currently what I've implemented is that the robot is mostly finding the deposit box on random, which in hindsight is not a very good idea, since it is possible that the robot takes a very long time in order to find the deposit zone. So in hindsight, what I could have done was that the map itself has already been split into grids of 3x3. So I could have used the coordinates of where my robot is and the coordinates of where the deposit zone is, and calculate the angle that is needed in order to head to the deposit zone. For the second part about how the robot moves into and move out of the deposit box, so basically it's mostly on timer. So when the robot has collected a certain number of objects and is inside the deposit to deposit the objects, it will stop there for a few loops in order for the robot to deposit the objects. And once the objects are deposited, the loaded object counter will reset to 0. So that means, so in this section of my code, when the loaded objects equals to 0, like the robot will no longer deposit any objects. So even though when it moves forward and continues sensing the orange RGB values, it will not deposit again. So that will allow the robot to move out of the deposit zone once a single deposit is made. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Wendelin. Let's head over to your next question. All right. So next question is, why did you choose the speeds you chose? You mentioned 50 to 70 were not loaded. Why not 100? How did you go about striking a balance?
I think I chose the speeds 50 to 70. 50 for when I have objects loaded onto the robot, and 70 when I do not have objects loaded onto the robot. Because on my computer itself, the simulator was a bit laggy, so it's a bit inconsistent when I run it at high speeds. So sometimes it might be too fast, and it takes a longer time to carry out the loop. So which is not ideal because it can easily crash into walls and objects. So I picked a lower speed like 50 and 70, and not as compared to like 100, which will, as I mentioned earlier, will cause me to crash. However, in hindsight, when the robot was run on the simulator from your side, I realized that the speed was more consistent there, and I could have run it at a much faster speed in order to earn more points. So that is something I feel that I can learn from. As to why I have two different speeds, I have a slower speed for when I have objects collected, because when I have objects collected, I do not want my robot to move too quickly such that it may not be able to avoid the traps in time. Because based on my algorithm, when the robot senses the yellow warning zone, it is supposed to turn away, but it may not turn away quick enough if I run it at a high speed. So I'll end up falling into the trap and I'll just lose all the points that I have earned, which is definitely not an ideal situation. Also, I chose 7T when I have no objects that loaded in order for me to run faster. So in a way can blind sweep and find zones where there are actually objects to collect. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wendelin, for your time. So we're gonna head over to our next candidate, Huashingho from Taiwan, TW7133. So I would ask you to turn on your camera.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah,
All right, good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, very nice. So let's head over to our questions. Okay, so the first question is, how do you define a path in your strategy for a new map? How do you dynamically choose a path in many paths? All right, take your time, you have 8 minutes.
When it comes to this question, I look at the map and find where object is locked and where is department box, and my path has everything. Just like my robots will run and walk my path, and from I see in a map the object, and every place have every function. Just like something place I can find a deposit box, and something place I just find an object. Thanks.
All right, thank you for answering this question. Let's go to the next question. So the second question is, if there are two super objects that are far apart from each other and you're running out of time, what will your strategy be?
When it comes to this question, maybe I will last one super object because I cannot find that. Because I just contour the super object, I will find land I can buy. But if I cannot I cannot come to there, I just go to department box because I can get a double point. Thanks.
I see. So do you have any more to add?
No.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Huashingho. And yes, you know, and so thank you. This is the end of session 3. All right, just a gentle reminder, the award ceremony will be held today at 10 GMT or 6 p.m. Singapore time. So hopefully we'll see everyone there. And yeah, good job, everyone. You know, thank you for participating in this interview session and for sharing with us your wisdoms and knowledges. Thank you. And I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
那好喝哦。那我要来了，来这个美式的啤酒。做啥？
嗨。
这个天。你那种衣服的标签都要剪下来，当书签吗？哦。我看待会开始的时候啊，你跟我进去绝顶别的地方啊，是不是在那边跟我讲话的？对呀，好看，英语杂志。你敢做啊？对，你坐着啊。
好。太常用同一个字了。
你刚看了谁来？
他这样。 Welcome to iCooL Challenge interview session organized by RoboCup Asia Pacific CoSpace Organizing Committee. Let's put our hands together to welcome Chief Judge Evgeny Shandarov from Russia. Evgeny is a RCAP Executive Committee member and RCAP Junior General Co-Chair. OC Chair Jiayao Shin from Singapore. Jiayao is also a RCAP Executive Committee member and RCAP Junior General Co-Chair. And judges from the RCAP Organizing Committee. So there will be 5 of you for this interview session. Number 4, Ali Panahande from Iran has not shown up yet. So if it does not show up, we'll just, go from SG7096 directly to TW7132. Okay. So the instruction is the interview panel has prepared 2 interview questions for each participant. Each participant will be given a maximum of 8 minutes to answer 2 questions. All right, so for the first question, we're gonna invite KR7122, Jin Won Lee from Korea. So Jin Won, hi, can you hear me? Yep, hi, how are you? Can you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Video and
yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Hi, Jin Won.
Hello.
Hi. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's start, shall we? So you have 8 minutes in total for 2 questions, okay? All right.
Okay.
The first question is, how do you set points on the map? How do you select points on one route?
Can you wait for the minute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll start answering.
All right, please go ahead.
I set the point of the map as a following some rules. The first rule is to make RRGGBB deposit. To make this, so on the map there's red. There's some place where the red object is gathering, and some place for green and not green, cyan and black, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the robot would I set the route for the robot to pass the whole place to get the two red, 2 cyan, 2 black objects to make the superplus and deposit. So the conclusion, I made the route for the robot would get the whole are two red and two cyan and two black objects, and next deposit. So I made this. Can you understand?
Yes. No problem. Okay, so if you're finished, let us know so we can go to the next question, okay?
Yep.
All right, so next question?
Yep.
Okay, cool. In the game, another robot will be searching with you. What changes will you make to your existing strategy? What if objects in an area have all been collected? What will you do?
Right. Okay. First, if the objects in the area have been all collected, there's no more object, right? So I made one strategy to avoid that, to avoid the non-objective place. I set the one route for robot. So I parallel translation. I don't know how to say I keep the shape of the root, and just translate or move the root like right 5x position 5 like plus 5 for position x. So the root, if the root is here, so it moves like 5 this way, and next root, so next root, the root will be go like upward for 5 like and or 10, and next one routine, the root would change like on under 5 like this. So I avoided the non-objective area. Yeah. And this is my strategy.
I see. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So do you have anything more to add?
Maybe not.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Jin Won.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so let's head off to the next candidate, Ray San from Australia. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Ray, can you hear me? So,
yeah.
Yes, hi, Ray.
Hi. So.
All right, so we're gonna beam you. All right, let's see. Okay, good. All right, so your first question is, how does the robot deal with traps, obstacles, and the border? How do you use A-star algorithm in your searching strategy?
Okay, so in my program, the first step would I would take a screenshot of the whole map, and then I would change the map, like the one in the presentation, so every color is simple. And then after that, a program would convert the colors into numbers, which is like the data for our robot. So then, like, if 1 is equal to white space, then 2 might be the trap, 3 might be the obstacle, 4 might be the swamp area. So this makes the robot know where it is. And for the border, I made 4 virtual lines so it doesn't go across. And then I also made like the object areas are not outside of the border to prevent it going out. And for A star, so I'm using the A star algorithm, and at first I was using Dej Sectra, but then it had problems dealing with like obstacles. It would not see the obstacles, so I changed to A star, which can avoid obstacles better. And so at first, the robot would go to the closest object area, fitting its need of getting a super blue plus. And then after that, inside the object area, we would create random points so the robot would go to. And then after collecting some, or if the time is like, if there isn't any objects in the area, then it would transfer to the nearest object area, fitting the need of getting RGGBB. And A star is just a great tool to help the car go to wherever it needs to go, like going to find the super blue plus, or to go to the deposit area or object areas, and it's really useful. So yeah.
Right. Right. Thank you, Ray. Let's go to the second question.
Sure.
All right. So during path planning, the location of the signal block zone is unknown. If the signal block zone is connected to the trap area, how do you intend to solve this problem and not affect the efficiency of the robot's search?
This is actually a problem that like usually depend on our luck, but for the signal block zone, I have a backup coordinate of the cart, so whenever it goes into the area, it would know where it was, which is helpful. But when it's connected to the trap area, the robot knows that it's close to the trap, because we also label places that are close to traps and swamps and borders. But if that still doesn't work, then the robot would still react to the trap if the color sensors see yellow, and they would try to avoid it. But this problem isn't like usual, so it doesn't really affect the robot, but it still might be a problem, but I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
Alrighty, very cool. Do you have anything more to add?
I guess not really.
All right, cool. Thank you, Ray. Thank you so much for your time. So now we are going to head to our next candidate, Elliot. So Elliot, I'm going to ask you to. Hi, Elliot.
Yes,
I'm going to ask
hello.
you to turn on your video. and then we're gonna beam you up. Okay. Okay, Elliot. Welcome. So questions that the judges prepared for you are the following. So the first one is, how do you use the robot position in your strategy?
Could I clarify on what robot position means in this context?
Okay, so like where the robot is on the map, like how does it affect your strategy?
I think where the robot is on the map affects my strategy in the sense that, because especially in the blue zone where the points for the objects are higher, it will definitely allow my robot to pick up the same amount of objects, but things that are worth more points. So in that sense, it will allow me to be able to deposit more points and put them into the collection box.
So to further clarify, it's like, so where like the robot's position on the map, right? So, you know, like do you have a strategy to like, you know, what if the robot is placed in a, you know, quote unquote disadvantageous position? So like, do you have a strategy that is built in to like, you know, counter that? Or is it gonna more be of like luck, like, oh, wherever the system like puts you, then, you know, we'll just let it run?
I think I've programmed it in a way so that from the starting position, it should not be able to go into any disadvantageous positions. And from there on, if there is a disadvantageous position, usually it will be able to avoid any serious points loss and find its way out with relative ease.
All right, very cool. Thank you, Elliot. Let's head over to the second question, okay?
Yep.
So if the robot is far away from the deposit area, how will the robot realize its path planning and complete deposit? And I would assume that, you know, maybe time is, you know, running out, or, you know, it's going to take very long for a robot to get to the deposit area.
So in such a situation, I would believe that a robot would try its best to navigate, because the angles I've taken were so that when it's optimally through testing, it should be able to turn in such a way so that it will try its best to face the deposit area. So, but if it's quite far away, then I think in a sense it would take just a little bit of luck to be able to find its way. But once again, the angles make it so that it's very hard for it to be so-called far away.
I see. So your strategy is centered around angles.
Yeah, true. Because I think I did test quite a bit, and I feel that I found I've programmed the motors in a way so that when it turns, it has a higher percentage chance of being able to go to a more advantageous spots.
Yeah, I see. That's very smart. Well, thank you, Elliot, for sharing. Thank you. All right, so the next we have Ali Panahande from Iran. So hi, Ali. Can you unmute yourself? And then I'm gonna ask you to turn on your camera.
Hello.
Hi, Ali. How are you?
Hi, thank you.
Okay, Ali. So we are gonna get you the questions for today. Okay.
Okay.
So the first question is, how do you divide the map into several zones, and how to navigate? How will your robot navigate?
Like what I'm gonna do with this is that I will how I divide it is that it's not like division and it's like a virtual meaning, not real division. It means that I will say that for navigating, it's simple that the robot will go to the coordinates that I set to, and it will go to the zone. Like if it's, I don't know, for example, a zone for objects. It will go to that zone with when I give it, and it will collect the object, and that's what I do, like this.
I see. Do you have anything more to add to this?
That's what I do. This what I did. It's just this. It will like it will let me just okay. What it does is that it's go to the coordinates that I give to the robot, and that's what the robot does.
Right. So I guess we can go to the next question, right?
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So if the super object is generated on the other side of the wall, how will you plan the path?
On the other side of the wall.
So it's like on the other side of the map.
You mean I don't get that. Can you like explain it to me?
Okay, so you know like within the map there are like walls that your robot has to like navigate. You know, for example, this one that you like in the first question you see there's a wall, right? So
yes, I know.
Your object, your robot is in the blue area, okay? And
Okay.
then the super object is it's outside of the blue area, and there's a wall between you and the super object. So how are you gonna, you know, what kind of strategy are you gonna use to go get the super object?
Like in my presentation, I said that there is a something called Pythagorean theorem, in which that what it does is that it like it's a simple triangle, and the robot what the robot does is that follows the triangle and goes for the object. It will and change radian, and it will go for the super object. It's like a triangle, and the robot is here. It will go from that place to this place, from this Pythagorean theorem. That's what I did for the robot to go for the super object.
That's wonderful. All right, cool. Thank you, Ali.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, so
it was a great experience that I attended this interview, and that I completed the challenge, and it was a great experience, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ali. Thank you for being a part of this amazing community.
You're welcome.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
All right, so the next participant is Wei Chang from Taiwan. So Wei Chang, I'm going to ask you to turn on your camera.
Hi, this is Wei Chang. How are you?
How are you?
Oh, I'm great.
All right, let me just configure something to make sure you are beamed up onto YouTube so everyone can see you.
Okay.
Yeah, so, all right, cool. Let's get to your questions, shall we? All right, so for your first question is, how do the robot find a right path and avoid using the same road repeatedly? So for example, sometimes in a map, your robot is just like stuck going like one, you know, like path.
Okay.
So how do you prevent that kind of things from happening?
I will try two different ways to go to let the robot go. The first way is called zoom. Using zoom, I could move the robot I will let the robot in a control area freely. However, I noticed that the super arch will scatter around, and this method may not be ideal. Therefore, I choose to try second one, using jump points and control lines.
those are your two strategies to prevent this
Yes.
kind of things from happening. Okay, cool. So,
Okay.
so can we go to the next question?
Yes, I
All right,
finished.
cool. Let's go to the next question. Right, in the game, another robot will be searching with you. Since the chances of super objects being generated is low, will you not wait for 2 super objects to be generated before picking? So how do you intend to solve this problem? So I think the question should be phrased is, will you wait for 2 super objects to be generated?
Yes, I will wait because.
Or are you going to just pick one first and then, you know, yeah.
No, I will take 2 super objects because I can open supersonic and that the car with my car, and I will first, when I see another car, my car will go back and let the car first go, and I will get I will get the super object.
I see. So essentially you're going to actively avoid your opponent so that you can concentrate on collecting your objects.
Yes.
To
Yes.
generate 2 super objects, which will give you more points.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Well, thank you, Wei Chang.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any more things to add, to share with us?
No.
All right, cool.
Have
Thank
a
you
nice
so much.
day.
Thank you. You too. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Right. All right, guys. We have come to the end of our session 4. And thank you for being a part of this, and thank you for participating. And just a gentle reminder, the award ceremony will be held today at 10 GMT, which is 6 p.m. Singapore time. And hopefully we'll see lots of you over there, okay? So thank you, and see you later.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a good one. Hello, is everyone in? All right, welcome to iCooL Challenge interview session organized by RoboCup Asia Pacific RCAP CoSpace Organizing Committee. Let's put our hands together to welcome Chief Judge Evgeny Shandarov from Russia. Evgeny is a RCAP Executive Committee member and RCAP Junior General Co-Chair. OC Chair Jiayao Shen from Singapore. Jiayao is also a RCAP Executive Committee member and RCAP Junior General Co-Chair, and judges from the RCAP Organizing Committee. So for the final session 5 of the interview, there will be 5 candidates, and your interviews will be according to this table. Right, the interview panel has prepared 2 interview questions for each participant. Each participant will be given a maximum of 8 minutes to answer 2 questions. And if you have any questions, feel free to, send us a message using the chat in the Zoom app, okay? All right, so without further ado, let's invite Hanson Sun from Australia to kick off session 5. Hi, Hanson, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. Let me just get you online, one moment. I'm gonna beam you onto YouTube. Yep. Okay. Let's see if you're there. And yeah, so the first question the judges would like to ask you based on the videos that you submitted is how to convert a map into grid and how do you use the grid data?
Okay, so how we convert the map into a grid is first we use the bird's eye view and take a picture of the map, and then we would kind of white out all the unnecessary parts of the map, like the objects that would be random when restarting the program. And we would highlight the obstacles with a color like black, and then separate the trap with a color like red. And then later we would change that picture into a grid by sorting out like which color into what number in a 2D array. And then we use that array as the data for our A-star algorithm. So for example, if we wanted to go from the blue zone to the white area, we would, the robot would use the data and know where there's a trap and then where there's an obstacle. And using the A-star algorithm, it would calculate the most efficient route to the destination.
Righty, thank you. So let's head over to the second question. So during path planning, the location of the signal block zone and the location of the super object are both unknown. How do you intend to solve this problem and not affect the efficiency of the robot's search?
During path planning, so how we solved the signal block zone was that when the X and Y coordinates would be set to 0, we would use a copy of the latest recorded coordinates. So it'll think it was just right outside the object block zone while it was in it. So it was not the best solution, but I think it was pretty efficient, and it made the program run pretty smoothly. And for the location of the super object, when the super object is created, there's a variable that contains the location of the super object, and we would copy down that location and use the A-star algorithm to locate it. And
yeah, do you have any more things to share with us?
Not really.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hanson.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Hanson. And now we have Jonathan Lee from Singapore. So Jonathan. All right.
Yes.
All right, cool. So we're gonna beam you up onto YouTube, right? So, and the questions the judges would like to ask you is, what is your object search strategy and how does the robot avoid traps and obstacles?
For the object search strategy, as mentioned in the video, there's this auto deposit program. The auto deposit program can actually be used as a way to go to the specific object collection areas. For example, there's a region where the red object is the most, and coincidentally, there's actually the auto deposit pathway that can go from the collection area to the deposit area. So if we look at it another way, we can actually route it such that you can move from the deposit area towards the various object collection area, which is how I use it for the object search strategy. And to avoid the trap and obstacles, so firstly, for obstacles, it actually go by the ultrasonic sensor. For example, if the front ultrasonic sensor detects an obstacle, the robot turn left, and if the right ultrasonic sensor detects obstacle, the robot turn left. For avoiding traps and obstacles, as the trap is surrounded by these yellow markings, when the robot detects the yellow markings, it actually turn away from the trap, which prevents it from actually entering the traps.
Okay, thank you. Let's head over to the next question. So can you share with us how many ways you can avoid the swamp area?
The swamp area is actually color coded into this gray color. So the robot's sensors can actually detect this gray color, and actually when it does the gray color, it can actually code it such that it will move away from it, such that it won't enter this swamp area.
I see.
And another way would be that you can actually get the XMI coordinates of the swamp area, such that when the robot is closely approaching the XMI coordinates of the swamp area, you actually also turn away from it. It's similar to how I actually avoid going out of the boundaries.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you, Jonathan. That was remarkably concise, to the point, and thank you. All right. So the next candidate is Muhammad Altariano Ramadan. So I'd like to invite you to turn on the webcam and join us. Hello, how are you?
Hi. Yes, I'm good.
Hi, good to see you here.
Me too.
Okay, so first question. What is your object search strategy and how does the robot avoid traps and obstacles? You have 8 minutes, so take your time, okay?
Thank you for the questions. I think my strategy is make use of the programs that I've been involved in. So they are red, black, cyan, and yellow. So I made the yellow program, which is I set it with color sensors. In the left is RGB into 124. The green is 237 and the blue is 0. For the right side, the red is 224, the green is 237 and the blue is 0. So that's the way my strategy to avoid the traps and obstacles. I think so.
Well, thank you. So let's head over to the second question, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So can you share with us how many ways you can avoid the swamp area? Take your time. Take your time. No hurry.
Actually, I discussed with my tutor about the way you can avoid the swim area. So I think just make use of the program.
Mm-hmm. Okay, like, anything more you would like to expand on?
I think that's it.
That's it. All right. Thank you, Mohammed. This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
for your
you.
time and participation.
Yep.
All right. So
Thank you
we're
so
gonna
much.
move on to the next candidate.
Yes.
Right. It's Karu Muto from Japan. Hi, Karu. So we're gonna ask you to turn on your webcam. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. So
I'm Hikaru Muto, who is I'm a translator of.
Okay, no worries, no problem. That's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's fine, no worries. All right, Karu. We're gonna ask you 2 questions, okay?
Yes.
All right. So the first question is, how does the robot avoid traps and obstacles?
どのようにしてトラップや障害物を避けていますか？その方法を教えてください。
座標を使うことでトラップのところとかに入らないようにしている。
I use coordinates to avoid traps and obstacles. For example, my robot will not go near the trap and obstacles. 他には？それだけ？壁を受けるとかしてないの？
なんて？
壁を受けるとかしてないの？
壁を受けしている？
うん、じゃあそれ説明して。
壁を超音波センサーで、壁とかがあったら避けるようにしてます。
I use ultrasonic sensors to avoid obstacles. 例えばどういう時にどういう具体的な数値とか覚えていただいて。
20ぐらいだったかな。
の時にどうする？後ろに下がる、左後ろに下がる、右後ろに下がる？聞こえる。早く。
どうだっけ？
どうしてたか覚えてない？
覚えてない。
じゃあ普段はどうしてる？
普段はちょっと遠かったら左側に曲がって、近かったら下がる。
For example, if the obstacle is far from my robot avoid it with going straight. However, if my robot is near to obstacles, my robot will go back to avoid obstacles. これで終わり？答え。This is the answer of the first question.
All right, cool. So let's go to the next question.
Yes.
All right, in the game, what is a path planning strategy for picking up a super object?
スーパーオブジェクトを取るときにどういう、戦略を使っていましたか？
スーパーオブジェクトの座標が近いところ、ロボットがスーパーオブジェクトの近くになったら、スーパーオブジェクトのところに行くようにしてます。
When my robot comes near the super object, my robot will go to the super object. But if my robot is far from the super object, my robot will not go. スーパーオブジェクトから遠いときは何してる？
そのまま順番通りに行って近くなるのを待つ。
If my robot is far from the super object, my robot will do a general movement. My robot don't consider any information about super object.
I see.
Yes. ここには説明することは
ないと思う。
This is the answer of second question.
All right, thank you so much, Karu.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you for translating.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, so the last but not least, our final candidate, Adam Poliansky. So we're gonna, hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Здравствуйте, Evgeny Stanislavich.
Oh, good to see you. So
Yeah.
Is it morning in Russia?
No, it's like 13
okay,
p.m.
it's 1 p.m. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so now we are gonna get you your questions. So what is the object search strategy and how does robot find a deposit box?
So how I mentioned in my presentation, I use paths that I hard-coded in my code. So I before the robot starts to moving, I put all the points in the program in the if-else statements. So when the game starts, robot knows all the paths. So he knows collection box point. He knows everything. So he moves on certain paths. So how do I search objects? It's just actually it's more randomly than I did something about this, because points just on the map and robot tries to find them, not because he explicitly trying to find them, but it's just like randomly happening. Yeah.
I see. Cool. So and then our next question is, if the robot is far away from the deposit area, how will the robot realize its path planning and complete deposit?
So because I use predefined paths, it's quite not possible for robot to move from any point to the deposit zone. So he needs to go in a full path. So he goes to the deposit zone once in the whole path. So you just like put the point on the deposit zone, and when the robot comes to the deposit zone, he deposits. Another time you cannot go to deposit zone. So it's my strategy that I used in this particular competition.
So is the path like fixed?
Yeah, the path is fixed. It's not autonomous. You cannot use this on any map. It's just
So every time if you see a new map, you will have to tweak it a bit.
I have to make a new path.
Okay, I see. Okay, wonderful.
It's pretty simple. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for being a part of this, and thank you, everyone. We have come to the end of session 5, and just a gentle reminder: the award ceremony will be held today at 10 a.m. GMT, which is 6 p.m. Singapore time. So hopefully we'll see you there later. Okay, and thank you. So see you guys later.
Are you sure?